Now, after divorce, pressure is all over for me to get another wife. Anytime I wake up in the morning, Gidi, when will you bring another wife? You're not looking happy. At your age, you cannot be single like that. And me, myself, do I agree with them? Yes, I agree with them because I also miss intimacy. I also wanted a stable family. And yeah, so I agree with them that I'm not looking happy and I need somebody else we can sit down and plan life together. And I have some friends who keep telling me that ignore what people are telling you and just isolate yourself and be alone. Don't listen to people, don't marry. You see, those who tell me that are friends in town and I live in the village. You know, when you live in town, nobody's holding you accountable. You don't have people to ask you questions. Even if you want to stay single until you are 70, nobody will ask you anything. But in a village setup like mine, you cannot stay single, bro. People will keep asking you questions. And again, as I told you, I also feel like I can't just be like that, you know. Men, we keep lying to ourselves that we don't need women. That if a woman has done you bad, then all women are bad and we don't need women. I think it's a bad philosophy. In my opinion, someone can disagree with it. I feel it's a bad philosophy because if one person does you bad, even our fellow men hurt us, our fellow men do very bad things to us, that doesn't mean that all men are bad. And the same case applies to women. I know some of you love your mothers at home. A lot of you love your mothers. Your mothers are amazing people. But you say that women are bad. Women are bad, yet your mother at home is a very good woman. So they are good women. When you talk to your mother, she talks to you calmly. Where are you? What are you doing? You see? But when you have a girlfriend and she hurts you, you conclude that women are terrible. And then you start this movement of MG Tao. Men going their own way. We want to live our own way. No. I believe they are good women. I believe there are women who want to stay in stable marriages. I believe there are women who value togetherness and a family unit. So that is the kind of a person I would really wish to have. A person who loves other people. A person who wants to stay in her own house with her own husband and raise her own children. Yeah, that is now what I'm looking at. And finding that person is quite a challenge. It's not easy. I did a video here walking you through my village. And I demonstrated to you how difficult it is to get another wife. So it is going to be quite a challenge to get another lady. And I don't want a lady who stays in town, who wants to stay in town. No. That does not mean that I hate ladies who stay in town. I would like someone who wants to stay in the village with me, but she should be smart also. She should be easily trainable to understand how to earn money online. Because in a village setup like this, you see, when I move like this, you don't see story buildings, you don't see shops, you don't see hospitals, you don't see schools. This is a quiet space. It's a very quiet space. And for you to make money in this setup, you need to understand how to use a computer, how to pitch, how to leverage AI, the way I told you. How you need to understand how to make money online, because you can't come to the village without a plan. You need to be in the village with a plan. So if I get someone who is enlightened, he's educated also. I love educated people. You know, people criticized me a lot when I talked about a lady who is educated. Education does not mean that people who are not educated are fools. They are not fools. They are also good people. But their ability to communicate well, their ability, when I have clients, for example, and I'm not available, you need to communicate well with them and make them feel like even if I'm not there, everything is running well. That is why I'm very obsessed with education. But my concept of education has changed. It's not the way it was during the last time. You know, initially, I used to believe that education is all about a degree certificate. You need to have a degree. You know, I believed that anybody with a degree is capable of reasoning well and just ironing out issues well. But now I understand that being educated is also being enlightened, being open-minded. Even if a person completed just Form 4 and they can talk well, they can articulate their issues well, they can learn faster. You see, they have empathy. That is education. Now, my concept of education has changed. It's not just about acquiring papers and being egocentric. You don't want to solve issues when they arise. No. It is being able to listen, understand, communicate, and address issues. So I'm in a race to look for someone, and it is going to be quite challenging. It is going to be quite challenging because I am in a place where it is not easy to get a wife. If, like, look at this place now. This place, I told you, I can marry from this place. You cannot see anybody. So at home, you cannot say that you will look for a woman and get her. Now, I told you that I miss intimacy, and I have friends who keep telling me that, Gidi, you cannot say that you miss intimacy. Come in town, we will connect you to girls who will quench your thirst as you wait to marry. You see, I am a Seventh-day Adventist, and I have to live like a Seventh-day Adventist. I cannot come to buy ladies when I can just wait and have one. I usually advise that relationship also requires hygiene. You also need to exercise hygiene in terms of relationship matters. So if you keep on sleeping with girls in the name of buying them that you are enjoying life, it is not just a spiritual matter. It is also a hygiene matter. These people you see out here, they carry a lot of diseases. And you know, as a person who has a background in healthcare, I have studied different STIs. I understand how these diseases spread, and I understand how devastating they can be to families and to you. You cannot just tell me to come, buy ladies, enjoy life. That's not enjoying life. You see, from a spiritual standpoint, I have told you that I am a Seventh-day Adventist, and I can only wait to get a lady I love and marry that one. Okay? I cannot have multiples. No. Because of spiritual matters. Secondly, we have bacterial diseases. We have viral diseases. And bacterial diseases, fortunately, you can treat them with antibiotics. They are easily treatable. But what about viral diseases? You see, some of you only know about HIV. HIV is only one of the lethal diseases that we have. You know, somebody can look very okay. They don't have a bacterial disease. They don't have HIV. But you go there and you find that they have a disease we call condylomata acuminata. It is called genital warts. And they will infect you and you will never heal. Bro, you will suffer. Or if you are a lady, you can get cervical cancer. So you may think that you are enjoying life, but you are welcoming penile cancer and cervical cancer. Or somebody can infect you with maybe, let's say, genital herpes, which does not heal. That thing does not heal. That virus goes and hides in the nerves. So every time, symptoms will just be erupting. And you will be asking yourself, why is this thing not healing? It is a viral infection that you are given because you are enjoying life. So when I say that I only want one person and I'm waiting for that one person, it is not just about the spiritual standpoint that I have as a Seventh-day Adventist. It is also about my health and the health of my generation. You cannot do that and then expect to be spiritually and physically healthy. It is terrible. So it's bad advice. I cannot take that advice. And someone can ask me, how urgent is the situation? Must you really rush to get someone? There are two things. I am a healthy man. And sometimes, as I told you, I miss intimacy. And so that is the first thing. I don't want to find myself doing terrible things. That's number one. Then number two, in our village, a man who does not have a wife is called Omusumba. Omusumba is a very derogatory term for a man who cannot attract a woman. A very despicable man who does not have money, or a man who is impotent. He cannot stand. Is a very useless man. Omusumba is a man who the society cannot entrust with anything. Because if society cannot see you with a wife and you cannot take care of a wife, then how can they entrust you with anything else? And this is why politicians, Western Kenya politicians, are usually pressured to have wives. You need to have a wife and to demonstrate that you can lead your home, so that you can be entrusted with other responsibilities in terms of leadership. You have seen the way one of the members of parliament in Western Kenya has been pressured to have a wife Why? Because people start reading your responsibility from your home. If you can take care of a wife, you can take care of children, you can manage your marriage, then definitely you can manage a community, you can manage a constituency, you can manage a county, and you can manage the nation. That is why presidents usually have wives. We have very few single presidents. I don't know of any single president. Maybe if you know one, you can comment down there. Let me know if we have single presidents. I don't know, but I'm sure there can be. But a lot of presidents are married. And when they go to the podium, they have to present their wives. So you must first demonstrate that you can take care of a wife at home. You show that you are responsible before you can be entrusted to take care of other people. Some people may not agree with this philosophy, but I think it's a very important philosophy, and I believe that I cannot just be like that. And a man who has never divorced out there could be asking me, how is the situation after divorce in terms of productivity? Bro, your productivity increases threefold. When you divorce, you find yourself with a lot of time. A lot of time. Sometimes you ask yourself, what can I do with this time? You see, I had left even this YouTube channel. It was dormant because I was very busy. I was running up and down dealing with this and that. But you get out and you realize that now you have time even to record a video here and there. You can do so many things. And that is why actually I think single men stand a higher chance of being more successful than married men. Because you have a lot of time. And I want to believe that this is the same case also with women. Because a woman who is single, I want to believe she has a lot of time to work on her goals, a lot of time to execute her plans. But when you get married, somehow it locks you down. You cannot do some things. Sometimes you are limited in terms of what you do. For example, there are certain videos I used to do, and she will tell me, no, don't do that, don't do that. You find that she audits what you are doing. You cannot earn money from certain kind of things as a married person. So marriage actually locks you down. It prevents you from moving freely forward. So when you are divorced, I believe whether it is a man or a woman, you have adequate time to execute your goals and to work on your goals. And that is why I understand people who tell me, don't get married quickly. Now it's time to rebuild. Time to work on yourself. So I understand that. But I've been working on myself. A lot of things I have achieved them when I'm in marriage. So I believe the lady who is coming next, I don't know who it is, but someone must be there. She must be able to compliment me as I work on my duties. But I also understand the risks that may come later. Because one thing I read about divorce is that the rate of divorce in second marriages is higher than the first marriage. So after the first marriage, the rate of divorce in the second one is quite high. So I'm very conscious about that. That is why I have to be extremely careful. The person I get, does this person really, really, really want me? Me first. Does she really, really want me? That's the first thing. Then the second thing, does she really want to stay? You see, stay in marriage. She wants the husband and she wants the marriage. Those two things. I have to prove them beyond reasonable doubt. Once I prove that, I know I will have reduced the chance of a second divorce significantly. What I'm worried about is my future as a man and just general reputation. Reputation is important, as I told you, because sometimes you may want to be entrusted with something important, and they say a man who does not have a wife like you, we cannot entrust you with this seat. A man who does not have a wife like you cannot be entrusted with a big position because you cannot show us the family you have taken care of. And if they tell me that, actually, I will understand. But I've seen men who have progressed without wives, like the governor of the Central Bank of Kenya. I think he was called Kariuki. He didn't have a wife, and he progressed well. I've seen people like Eugene Wamalwa who have held big positions, including being cabinet secretary of water, I think, and sanitation and what, without wives. But the mockery is too much. Like you hear the president say, tell this man who cannot keep a wife. You see, every time the president visits Trans Nzoia, he has to mock his marital status. You know, you cannot live comfortable in society like that. And sometimes, some things are for society, but we have to accept that they are also for our own benefit. For us to live well with other people, for us to avoid being social misfits, we also have to accept to live the way the society wants in some way. So marriage is important. I'm definitely going to get married. The problem is to who? That when I reach there, that is where now I get confused, because every lady to me now looks like a suspect. Every lady looks like a suspect of divorce. Sometimes I go somewhere and I meet a person and I say I want to communicate to them, and I say I want to communicate to them and then take them. But again, when you remember your experience, you say this one, we may not be compatible and she may bring. You see, there is trauma that first divorce gives you. And this is what most divorced men don't say. There is some trauma that first divorce gives you. It makes you fear to engage in any long-term commitment. And this leads to some men doing very funny things with women. Now you find a man sleeping around with random women. But for me, my values do not allow. Why? Because marriage is one of the holy institutions that I recognize. And I honestly believe that if a man can keep a marriage holy and other things that are holy, you understand 3 things that are holy, you can have minimal challenges in life generally, not just in marriage alone, but in life. Even the way you bring up your children, the challenges will be minimal. That is what I believe, because we have seen cases where men have not taken marriage seriously as a whole institution that should be treated well. And then you find that problems descend on children, and you find their children suffering because of the sins committed by their fathers. Sometimes, and this is what I want you to check, and I'm not mocking people who sell alcohol, just look for a family that has intoxicated youths in your area, a family that has destroyed youths with drugs, and they are profiting from that and sending their children to good school. Just observe their families. You will find that those children end up suffering. This is proven. You can check anywhere. Mostly that is what we have witnessed. Those are just some of the things that we see. If you destroy other families, or if you destroy your own family yourself, chances are it will descend down to your children. And that is why I had to rebuke the spirit of divorce for my sons. I have 2 sons, and I hope that they will stay stable in their marriages like their great-grandfather, their grandfather, and themselves, because their father has already messed up, you see. And I'm breaking that curse with me. I don't want that curse to continue down. I want those children to reach a point where they can marry their wives, stay comfortably in their marriages, be responsible citizens, treat other people well, don't engage in drug abuse. And I just hope, because you know, some of these things are, we only hope, because sometimes even as a pastor, you can bring up your children well, and then you find that your children are engaging in very bad manners. Yet you are a pastor, you are well behaved, you are preaching to people, you brought up your family well, but just 1 or 2 children come out of that family and they are ill-mannered, and you wonder, I am a pastor, how are my children behaving? You know, you cannot explain. So some of these things we just ask for God's grace. We only ask God to protect us and to help us in this journey of life. Life is quite challenging. So I don't want to make this video long, but because this is my personal space, I wanted to leave this video here. I will come back here in the future, look at it and say that this is the period that I was really looking for someone. This is the period that I was really contemplating of a second marriage. This is the period that I was really thinking about the divorce rates of the second marriage being higher than the first one. And this is the period that I really feared women because of the trauma that I had gone through. Yes, and if things will be okay in the future, I will thank myself, thank God, and thank everyone who contributed to it. But if things don't turn out well, because we always assume that everything will be okay, and things end up turning badly, you know, this is life. In life, you expect positive and negative outcomes. So if I experience positive outcomes, I will thank God for that. And if I experience negative outcomes, still I will say that is life, because in life we have to accept everything that comes our way. And now, apart from the marriage issue, in my videos I hear people asking me about the online gigs that I do and about the activities that I engage in online when I'm here. I don't have a single answer for that. Maybe if I can dedicate a whole video of things that you can do, the options that you can consider, and how much you can earn, the future prospects. And I was talking to someone who was advising me about the future prospects of this task that we do, and he was sharing something to do with pension schemes. So I believe that we will share more about the online gigs. So I will dedicate another video to talk about the online gigs, how much you can earn, the pension schemes that you can have, how you can protect your financial future, debt management. You see, I'm a person who has been in debt. I'm a person who has gone through a lot of things, bro. Lot of things, different frustrations. And then when you go through things, experience is a good teacher. Experience will teach you a lot of things. So when you go through a lot of things like that, you get to learn a lot. You don't learn from someone. Nobody teaches you things. It is you who go through them and you learn. So when you experience a problem, you get to learn things. And I have learned them through personal experience. And then when you go through them, you get to read books. They give you knowledge. And now you understand, oh, this is where I went wrong. I should have done this. I should have adjusted here, And now when you come out of that problem, you understand, oh, I am now wiser. I am now knowledgeable. And I can now tell other people what to do. But I'm not charging. I'm not one of those people who are doing courses that I'm selling a master class. I want to do courses. I'm selling a course. No, I'm not selling a course. I will just tell you honest information, because there are a lot of people who are sick of staying in town. They don't want to stay in the city. There are people who hate the concrete jungle, moving around the city, stressed. You don't have a car, you have to take public transport, waste a lot of money going to work, that you spend a lot of money on rent. There are people who hate that. Of course, there are people who love that. You can click away from the video. But there are people who definitely love staying in the village, but they don't have a way on how to stay here and create income from here. So we shall share a lot of things in one of the videos. I will dedicate one video. It's not a random thing. I will take some time to create that video. It will be a long video, and we will talk about that. Yes, and that is the end of this video today. I hope that we will keep sharing more, and let's meet again in another video. Peace.